So the city is kind of fallen into turmoil. It's just kind of, it looks like fucking Detroit. It's just kind of a shithole. The Samaritan just recently came out on Amazon Prime. I actually got to see it a few days early, but I didn't have a chance to review it, so now here I am. It's already out, so if you're interested in this after watching this review, go check it out over there on Amazon Prime. It is a Sylvester Stallone flick. It's brought to us by Julius Avery. A young boy learns that a superhero who was thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may, in fact, still be around. As far as I know, this is not based on any type of comic book or anything like that. This is its own creation. It's ultimately this 90s action superhero flick. That's what I got from it. It really had a very 90s superhero dumb action movie feel to it. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's up to you. Me, myself, I kind of liked it. I liked parts of it. I liked that about it. I didn't know what I was expecting from this movie. I saw the trailer. It looked interesting, and the trailer is pretty much what you get. If you liked the trailer, you're probably going to like this movie. Now, I'm going to say there's only really one thing to spoil. When you go into this movie, what you get, what you think you're going to get, if you watch that trailer, is pretty much what you get. But there is a spoiler. But let's just say that, yes, there is a thing that happens, and it doesn't happen until the end of the movie. But I was watching it with someone, 5 or 10 minutes in, said, hey, this is what's going on. And that's exactly what it was. And my understanding is I'm not the only person out there. I don't think I'm some prophet. Other people have made that call too. Maybe you won't pick up on it, but I thought it was kind of telegraphed a bit. It wasn't like telegraphed bad. It was just a vibe I picked up on. But I still enjoyed the movie as a whole. We got this really shitty rundown city called Granite City, and this little boy who's like 13, and he's just kind of in the shit. He's always like running with like the wrong crowd, and he's just trying to make ends meet. Him and his mom have like a really rough time. They don't have money. He does like they are illegal things. It's like more smash and grabs. He's more working with other kids that are like part of this criminal organization just to make a little bit of money here or there. He gets involved with the main villain of the movie. Now this villain, I can't even remember his name. He is pretty damn shallow, but he gets the job done. He's bad. He's a bad guy who wants to be bad. He has a reason, I guess, for wanting to be bad. In this world, by the way, there used to be superheroes. There was the Samaritan, and then there was Nemesis. They were brothers. They were both superpowered. It never says how they came about or any. It does not give an explanation, and I'm okay with that because the movie just doesn't give a fuck. It says that they existed. It acknowledges that they were different from everyone else. And it's like, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about that they did exist. They apparently got in this big fight one day. They haven't been seen since. Everyone assumes that they are dead. So the city has kind of fallen into turmoil. It's just kind of, it looks like fucking Detroit. It's just kind of a shithole. There's this guy, Sylvester Stallone, who lives in this kid's apartment block. And one day the kid sees him. The kid's getting beat up by some other kids. And Sylvester Stallone's character comes and saves him or helps him out. Beats the shit out of these kids, by the way. So a grown adult beating up some kids. And one of them tries to stab him, and the knife like bends, or he grabs it and it bends. And the kid becomes convinced, because he's kind of obsessed with the Samaritan. He becomes convinced that, hey, you're the Samaritan. You're just in hiding. And lo and behold, we find out that yes, Stallone is superpowered. He is in hiding after this big thing that happens. He doesn't tell the kid right away what happened with him and his brother, but yeah, that's him. Then we kind of have like this team up thing where the kid is like wanting to like learn more about him and why he is the way he is. I won't get into that and ruin any of that, but he's been in hiding. He doesn't want to get out there and help. It's pretty much like, oh, I'm not helping. There's nothing I can do. This world is going to shit. No matter what you do, it just gets worse. Me doing anything wasn't helping anything, so it's kind of down on his luck. Of course, the kid gets in trouble, and the villain comes along, and that is what calls Sylvester Stallone out. It's the story that you expect. We get some decent action, some pretty good special effects with the exception of one, and overall the performances they're fine. They work for what this story needs. This is not Academy Award winning stuff, but it's all solid. I enjoyed my time with this. If you like those dumb action, check your brain at the door superheroes 90s flicks, you'll have a good time here. The movie is rated PG-13, but I feel like it wanted to be rated R. Like they wanted an R rating here, but they never quite wanted to commit to it. And I don't know if that was a studio thing or what, but it does push some boundaries for PG-13 in the language and violence department. There's some things that happen that are pretty brutal, It's not like, you know, it is PG-13, but it is like right there on the edge of PG-13. I bet they had to cut some stuff out. With the language too, and the people that are saying the stuff and what they say, it is pretty hardcore for a PG-13 movie. I'll give it that. Because there was actually a point while watching it, I had to stop and say, what is this rated? While watching it, I was like, I think this is rated R. But no, it is PG-13, and it does push those boundaries too. Overall, it kind of has a jovial, I don't give a fuck about the details attitude, like I mentioned a moment ago. And I can appreciate that to a degree. Because I feel like if this movie had started going into too much detail about what's going on in this thing, with why these guys are the way they, or were the way they are, and why it just says, no, this is the world, accept it. We're not here to tell you why. Just know that it exists, these things happen. And I'm cool with that. I don't want it to get bogged down with all that. The movie's fairly short. It's only about an hour and a half long. It didn't need to be any longer. It was just right. I mean, I had a good time with this. I know some people have been giving it a hard time, saying, oh, it's kind of, you know, empty and vapid and it doesn't have a lot going on there. Not a lot in between the ears, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting this movie to be the next greatest film ever made, but it was entertaining, and that's what I want out of my movies, and that's what it gave me. It was overall pretty harmless, fun movie, and it was solid. Is it going to be in my top 10? No. Is it going to be in my bottom 10? No. It's going to just be an enjoyably solid movie that I had a pretty good time with for the night. I thought the twist was actually a really good twist. It was an interesting twist. I just hate that I picked it out early. If I hadn't picked out that twist earlier, it would have been even more impactful. I like the twist. I thought the twist was a really good thing, but there was something, and I can't even put my finger on it because I only watched the movie once. There was just something about it, something that was going on that I picked out this twist specifically. I knew right, I was like, this is what's going on. And it was only a few minutes into the movie. And sure enough, that was it. That's unfortunate. It didn't ruin it, like I said, but when it happened, I was just like, told ya, that's what's going on. I wish they had, I guess, hidden that a little bit better. I don't know what they did to alert me to that, because it was nothing that was too in your face, but there was just something that gave it away, and I picked it out. Hopefully you won't. Harmless, B-movie, 90s, dumb fun. I had a good time with it. Where it sits on a streaming platform is exactly where I'd put it, because this is absolutely worth checking out on streaming.
Across the street.
I wouldn't necessarily spend a whole lot of money on it, but it's a good time. I'd like to see it. I don't need a sequel or anything like that. We'll see how well it does, if it gets sequels or not. You guys let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, if you've seen it. Did you like it? What about that twist? Because that's the part that most people are going to talk about. Did you pick out the twist early?
Hey, old man! Try this.
Let's talk spoilers for just a minute. So if you have seen The Samaritan and you want to hear my thoughts on that twist, stay along. If you have not seen The Samaritan and you don't want it to be ruined, I don't think that this twist will ruin anything, but I would have preferred not knowing it. So if you haven't seen it and you really don't want anything spoiled, tune out. So you've been warned. I'm about to talk about Samaritan spoilers. So the big spoiler in the movie is, yes, we know from the trailer that Sylvester Stallone's character is this superhuman being, and he is, you know, the Samaritan, right? No, wrong. I picked it out early on. He was actually the bad guy. He's the Nemesis. So you got the Samaritan, or you have Samaritan and Nemesis, two brothers. They fought, somebody died, or they killed each other, or whatever. They disappeared. Samaritan was the good guy. He thinks that that's who this is, and the whole movie keeps calling him Samaritan. But there was something about it. He never referred to himself that way, and just certain things he said, I was like, he's not Samaritan, he's Nemesis. He's the bad guy. Now, he has kind of like turned around. He doesn't want to be bad, but also we find, as the movie goes on, the criminals of the world kind of like puts Nemesis on this pedestal, and they want to be like him, and that ties into the movie as well. But we find out that no, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to, like, he says it was never about destroying the world. He had a different way of looking at things, and he thought things should have been more brutal, but he wasn't as bad as they thought he was. And who actually died in the beginning of the movie, which was years ago, was a Samaritan. Or Samaritan died accidentally, and Nemesis was trying to save his brother's life, and he died. And that was one of the things that made him go away from all of this shit. He's the bad guy the whole time. We find out in the end, when they keep calling, when he's fighting the big bad guy of the movie, he's all like, you're the good guy, and the good guys lose. And he like grabs the big hammer thing, and he's like, I'm not the good guy. And then we find out, I'm the Nemesis. I was Nemesis. And he starts whooping a bunch of people's asses and getting a little bit more brutal. I would have preferred this more if he had gone like hardcore brutal at that part and just shown like that's how badass arch nemesis was. He didn't quite. He did kill some people, and he did like start beating some ass. But once again, it was a little bit wasted on me because I had picked it early on. It is a cool twist. I'll give it that. It is something new and something interesting for this genre, and I do appreciate that. I don't know, something about it early on gave it away, and I picked that out exactly. Like, that is exactly, I was like, that is what's going on here, and that is what it was. I already mentioned this, but I don't think it was anything just in your face, but it was something about the way that this movie was working out. It gave it away, and they should have just kept it a little bit more under wraps. Was knowing that ruin the movie? No. But it does take a little bit away from it, admittedly. So I think it's worth watching. It's worth checking. I had a good time with it. I continuously expected it to go bad. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, all right, we're coming up on the part where it's going to start losing me. And it never did. It never blew me away either. It kept me engaged and entertained the whole time. I was not just like blown away thinking this is the next best fucking movie ever made, you know? But I was entertained. It was a good time. Definitely watch. Check it out.